And we're on.
Yay.
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Welcome
hello.
to another edition of Skip Happens. And every once in a while, it does happen. And there's my friend Deb Lamfier. She is the president and founder of the official country music fan club. My name is Skip Clark. I'm your host here on Skip Happens. And we have a lot of great artists. We've been doing this for a little bit now. And they're reaching out to us and they say, hey, we want to be on the podcast. And I said, absolutely. Well, you know what? Manny's people reached out to us and said, we'd like to get Manny on your podcast. So, you know, I'm not really going to talk much longer because I want to hear all this from him. But first of all, it's Manny Blu. Manny, how are you? And welcome.
I am great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Welcome. Absolutely. Yeah. One of the first questions that I always ask our guest is tell us, where are you, and describe your surroundings a little bit.
I'm in Nashville. I'm home in my apartment here in Nashville. And yeah, just out here doing it.
Just doing it, man. Just doing it. You know, you're different, but it's different in a good way. And I think you would totally agree with me. And what you're doing is working. And what do you call what you do?
I call it country punk just because I was tired of being put in a box. I was tired of being called too rock for country or too country for rock. You know, and I think country right now is in such a really cool space. They've got the traditional guys. You have the, you know, the really traditional guys. You have the guys doing the sort of modern traditional, I guess you can call it. There's the pop guys. There's a singer-songwriter, super acoustic stuff, and then there's the heavier guys and girls, obviously. But there's the people doing it heavier, and that's where I feel like I fit. You know, I love all types of music, and I didn't want it to be, you know, limited by, hey, you know what? I was tired of even hearing it within you know, my surroundings and just people looking out for me with like, hey, you know, that's not really country. That's not really. And I'm like, well, let's just do it. Like it's cool, right? Like let's just have some fun. And I have a really good team around me now that believe in it, that are excited for this journey. And we've been having a lot of fun. We've been doing, you know, a lot of cool things, and I'm glad that it's connecting the way it is.
You know, they approached Deb and I and said, we'd like to get Manny on. I know we had to postpone a date and we had to change things around a little bit because you are picking up those gigs and you are on the road, which is a good thing. But to hear the music, and the question is, what is country really? What is it now? And what you're doing is a little bit of what you do, and that's country. Maybe Luke Combs has his sound.
Yeah.
You got Morgan Wallen, who's got his thing going, and they're all my favorite artists. It's just everyone's a little bit different and a little bit unique.
Yeah.
So, did you come up with the term country punk, or did somebody else come up with that term?
It was a kind of a mixture. I had been talking to my manager a little bit and thinking about what we want to do, where we go moving forward after, you know, we put out an EP called New Ink and all, you know, all that kind of thing. And Machine Gun Kelly had come out with Tickets to My Downfall around that time that I absolutely love. And Mod Sun came out right after that, and it's so throwback, but it's, you know, there's a modern twist to it. And it made me think I feel like there's just missing a little bit of that rock and roll kind of outside the box swag in country, maybe, you know. I think Coetzel might be one of the guys, you know, kind of doing it his own way as well. And I think that's super cool. And it's just kind of like, nobody's called it that. He said punk country, and I thought country punk sounds just rolls better. And
I like that.
Looks cooler. And ultimately, man, at the end of the day, I'm still a country artist doing country music, you know, with a twist, I guess. To me, country music really is about storytelling. And, you know, I think if you have that in the song, it can be a country song. It depends on what you want to call it. But the instrumentation around it could be whatever, you know, is best for the song. And that's sort of the approach that we took, that, yeah, certain things are going to be a little bit more up tempo, heavier, faster, and have some of that pop punk sort of inspiration. And some of it won't. Some of it will be slower. Some of it will be, you know, have steel in it or fiddle or whatever we feel like is best for the song. And so it's basically, it's more of sort of my brand, I guess, sort of how I present myself, more so than the sound by itself. because that's the whole reason I started it, was to not be stuck to one sort of
I love
sound
it.
and be able to be versatile. I think versatility is super cool. And when people can pull it off well, I think that's really cool. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, you're pulling it off. I mean, I saw some videos of you on stage, and it's like you look like a punk rocker, all due respect. But then again, the music is like it's rock, but it's country. And there's some
Mhm.
pretty awesome guitar licks, and the sound of the guitar as opposed to the sound of a fiddle or a steel. And it's all awesome. And
Thank
I
you.
don't, was it Drive? I have to go back and look. I was listening to one, and it's got an awesome, maybe it's the one with the devil.
Might as well lead.
Yes, Might As Well Lead. It's got an
Yeah,
awesome guitar solo in that. I
it
went,
does.
wow,
It
wow.
does.
And that's when I said I got to belong to the Blue Crew.
I appreciate it. We accept everyone.
Well, you'll see my name on that list. Let's take Deb and I back to the beginning, because it wasn't music in the beginning. And I know everybody that interviews you, they always ask, you were an MMA fighter. You
Yeah.
were in the ring. You were an athlete. You had
Yeah.
no idea what music was about at that time. Tell us about that.
Yeah, no, music was kind of just a really fun pastime that my dad loves to sing, and he loves to be in front of a mic. He loves public speaking and things like that. So being in front of people was never really an issue for me. And my mom grew up playing classical piano, and she could sing as well. So anytime we had, some sort of karaoke party or whatever, I never felt like I was intimidated, or I was like, guys, let's just have some fun, and let's just do it. And I guess, by doing it so much, and being around my parents doing it, I kind of, I guess, developed a natural skill for it. And, I got hurt doing MMA. I tore my quad
Ooh,
in my first fight, which I thankfully won, but,
ooh,
I had
yeah.
to take some time off. And so I thought it'd be a really cool thing to be able to do, just sort of a cool party trick to play guitar and sing. People were enjoying hearing me sing. So I'm like, well, if I don't have to rely on, a karaoke track or anything, I can learn the song and accompany myself. That might be a really cool thing to do. And the more I was doing that, I was doing more, I was doing more and more. And as I'm doing it, it's more exciting. People want to hear more of it. And I realized it's a lot more fun than getting punched in the face. So I made that switch pretty quick.
I bet. I bet. Oh my gosh. But you played hockey. I was reading somewhere before that. You are originally from Canada.
Yes, Montreal.
Montreal. Cool. You speak
Hmm.
French?
I do fluently.
Oh,
Yeah,
very good. I love it.
yeah.
I love it. Yeah. When was it that you made that transition from Montreal to Nashville? How long ago?
That was about I'd say a little over 2 years and a half.
Okay.
I got the opportunity to come down and record a little bit and fell in love with the city. Had my now manager, who I met him through his artist development company called 0 to 60.
Hmm.
He's like, hey, you got an album here, but do you have any plan? Do you have any idea? Do you have a brand? Like, what do you? And I had none of it. I was like, I don't know. I got the opportunity. I was just going by what I was getting,
Hmm.
and so when there was a reason to make the move, which was him saying, hey, it'd be really cool to work with you in the same room. Did you ever think of moving to Nashville? I did. I just needed that reason and that spark, and that was it.
Wow. And how old were you when you made that move?
Hmm. Um, say 24 or 25.
Okay. All right. I
Yeah.
get you. And how old
Hmm.
were you when you started to play the guitar? Because you were doing the fighting first, and then you
Yeah,
decided.
probably 21, 22.
Oh, all right. And
Yeah.
were you able to pick it up pretty easy? Because I mean, after all, mom being a musician, although it was classical piano and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I think in the grand scheme, yes. But I wanted to. I got into playing guitar because I loved watching BB King and John Mayer.
Yeah.
And those are not beginner songs. So
No, no.
it felt like it was taking a while because I wanted to get to that level, and obviously that's years and years of practicing and committing to the guitar. So yeah, but I guess I was able to accompany myself pretty quick. So yeah, I,
Mhm. What is
I don't know
the
if I answered your question,
no,
but
no, you did. No, you did well. I saw Valet on
yes.
the video. Is that the most recent?
Hmm.
Okay, so that's the new
Yeah.
release, Valet.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's awesome. And who does your videos? Because they're very well done. And if nobody's seen these, you got to go on YouTube. You have to search Manny Blu music, and you're going to see these videos, dude. They're very well done.
Thank you. It depends. I don't know which one exactly you're referring to. We have a couple of different people that we work with, depending on the music video production is Gear 7, and they've done, I think, all but one of my music videos that have a storyline. We've done some that we put together with show footage, but they've done all but one video, and they've been great to work with. And the live stuff, we have a guy named Tyler down here in Nashville who does a lot of our live stuff. So all the live and turned up and things like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it. I thought Deb was going to ask if she's back there smiling.
Stuck.
Yeah, Deb is.
I'm stuck. I'm on
stuck.
mute.
Oh, I can hear her though. I don't know why.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, it says it's stuck on mute. I'm trying not. I got Lindsay over there.
Manny, I'm going. This is the quietest Deb's ever been. Man, this is really something. I don't understand this. I don't get it.
How do you, okay, well, if you can hear me, I'm not touching anything. I know. I'll have to fix this later.
Deb, you're loud and clear, to be honest with you. And I was going to ask, Deb is the business. She's a businesswoman. She's got business in Nashville. She's got business here in the Northeast. We're based in Syracuse, but she has the audience company in Nashville, and she does a lot of that, and the Country Music Fan Club. And I know I was just kind of hoping that Deb could kind of ask some of the business questions, that side of things, because do you handle all that yourself?
I have a great team that helps me with it. I'm more ideas guy. All the adult and responsible stuff. I kind of pass on someone else. Right? Yeah, I pass on to somebody who can handle it a little bit.
Manny, right here, dude, right here. That's why I go, Deb, you take care of this. I'll come up with the creative ideas. You just kind of take care of all the business end of it. So,
well, that's good. You know where your strengths and your weaknesses are, and if your team can get out what needs to get out, that's all that matters. You do what you do best. So.
Correct. Yep. But, I think that's been part of it is I've seen some artists try to wear too many hats and kind of, I think it's important to know what's going on. Obviously, it's your craft, but I think surrounding yourself with the right people is massive right now.
Absolutely.
So this is a non-business question.
Okay.
If I can go off on a little bit of a tangent.
Sure.
So I have to ask, is there a special meaning behind the run left on your hat? Because I keep staring at it, trying to figure it out. And I'm not getting it.
There's a podcast based here in Nashville that is called Bussin' with the Boys, which is connected to Barstool. And one of the guys on there is Taylor Lewan, who plays with the Titans, and he's a left tackle. So I think the hats, these kind of hats kind of started with Run the Damn Ball or something like that. And so because he's a left tackle, I guess they made their merch with Run Left, kind of like I got you kind of thing. So Tennessee, Tennessee Titans. I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, so I'm a fan of the pod.
I've become one. I'm learning everything.
Yeah. Deb actually her son lives in Nashville now, and we've got friends that actually live there full time. So that's kind of cool. And they do take in, the Titans and the Predators and all that. You got all the big time sports there in Nash Vegas, so to speak. Put your hands up. Put your hands up in front of the mic. I want to see your hands with it, dude.
Oh,
all right. First of all, that is amazing. That is amazing.
Actually, this one's better off. Wait, where's the camera?
Wait, there you go. That's a new one.
Wow.
Oh yes, my God, that is so cool. There's got to be. How many tattoos do you have? First of all, do you have any idea?
Nope, I do not.
No. Okay, but you have a lot. I get it. You got the full sleeve, I would assume.
I've got 2 sleeves. I got my whole chest. I've got 2 on my thigh. 2 on my thigh. I've got 1 on my rib, and then I've got my fingers, I guess.
Yeah. And how old were you when you got your first tat?
16. 16. My parents had to sign the notary
right
for me.
Right.
So it's kind of they were there. They're like, hey, this is obviously something that means something to him. So they were all on board, but obviously 16, 17, 18, 19, I ran all my tattoos by them. And still today they've got some rules that I abide by because they were super cool about me getting them from the get-go. So but you you don't break the rules when it's your parents.
Yeah.
And,
that's respect. That's really
yeah.
nice because, tattoos are really a hard thing to accept for parents, speaking from experience here. So I have a couple children that just got their first tattoo, and they were really, really good about waiting to get it. And they were great about saying, hey, this is what I'd like to get. What do you think? And I think that's awesome. With as many as you have, if your parents are asking you not to do one certain thing, that you actually respect that, because there's not a lot of that left in the world today. So
no,
very much appreciated.
Well, I mean, I think they were super cool with me, about getting it, because, and I think, that's part of I just think that, I mean, I'm so grateful and fortunate that they get me and they understand me, and they kind of let me, there's rules and there's values, but they kind of let me, they're like, okay, he's a little bit different than everybody else. And it's been super cool that they just let me, they support me a lot. So there's no
good head
reason
on your shoulders.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I love the fact that you are different, but you're good. You're cool. You're the type of guy I'd want to hang with and have a drink. Seriously.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Because, no, we'll be there. We'll be able to do that soon, hopefully. But no, seriously. And but yet the music, when you're on stage, I see you got the fingernails, you got the tats, you got you got a little extra weight around the neck, you got all that stuff going, And then, like I said, I was watching a video earlier, and you had the jacket on with the spikes on the shoulders and all that. So, I mean, you're doing the punk look with country music, so it's country punk. I totally get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it too is I was always, even from a young age, my mom has always said it. She's like, you always just put things like clothing together. I always love fashion for whatever reason. And she's like, when you're young and your parents go, hey, what are you gonna wear for this occasion or this thing? And I'm like, I'm gonna do this. This is how I'm gonna fold this. I'm gonna put the collar like that. And my mom's like, you can't do that. That's not gonna look good. And I'm like, let me try it. And she's like, all right. And then I did, and she's like, all right, it works.
That's what you want to do. Yeah.
And so coming from Montreal to Nashville, trying to participate in country, I kind of went through this. Well, I really want to participate in this country world, in this country space, and kind of put a lot of that stuff aside for a little bit, just because I want to fit in. And then after a while, I was like, you know what, this is a little bit forced. This is not, although it was cool and it's fun. It wasn't exactly the representation of myself, and so country punk is really just about being yourself, and it allows me to have fun with it, paint my nails whatever color I want, and got the tattoos and things. So and just wear what I want. I did one day I went to a thing, I had a leather jacket with big spikes in a cowboy hat, and I'm like, this looks good today. I like that. And so, and that's kind of the point, is just doing what you feel is right, and be who you want to be. And that's sort of my stamp on country punk.
Next time Deb and I are walking the sidewalk in Nashville and we see somebody walking down the road, we're going to go, is that Manny? Is that Manny? Yeah. What do you think? Do you think that's Manny? Let's go say hello. No, you go say hello. No.
So 2 things. So if I were by myself and I saw, this is what I've learned this a long time ago. You just don't judge people by the way they look. Okay. And I had a lesson, just a small lesson learned to me a long time ago. So I've always had that in my mind, that I just misjudge someone. But if I were by myself and I saw you walking on the street and you had on shorts and a shirt, and I saw all these tats and, whatever, I would be scared. But yet you're the nicest person in the world. So needless to say, if I am walking somewhere, you're walking beside me, because that means someone else is going to be scared and I'm going to be good.
Yeah, that's a deal.
Oh, man. Deb, you crack me up. I love it. Oh my God.
I'm always thinking that way.
My mom has said the same thing about it too. She goes, you're so positive. You're so, free spirited. And then you walk in and you look imposing until you smile. And I'm like, I it's not my intention, but sometimes that's just what it is, I guess.
That's awesome.
What would be really cool is, now this is the first I've heard of country punk. So Skip, don't you think it would be really cool if within the next few years we start seeing this following of these artists going country punk, to know that Manny is probably the one that started that
exactly
country, genre, so to speak? And
Absolutely.
you are
Yeah.
the leader. You are a leader right now in something new in the industry,
Yeah.
which is
Thank you.
amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I have to give it up. There's a few people doing it very similarly, but I kind of, I feel like it can't be one song or one release. I think you got to jump in, all the
Yeah.
way. And, um,
Mhm.
I was like, has anybody ever said country punk before? And my manager's like, I haven't heard. And we went and did the research, and no country artist has said that. I mean, I am aware of cow punk. I know what that is, but it's not really the same
Mhm.
thing.
Right.
Um, so that's it. So I appreciate that. I think
Mhm.
and since I've said it, there's a few people that come out and they've got history and has seen kids or playing emo nights and things like that, or like, and I'm doing country now, but I love this. This is great. I feel like I'm country punk too, and it's like you are if you feel
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it was. I guess it's just putting a label to it and saying it. So that's what I've done, and I think that it's cool, and I've got to meet a lot of really cool musicians and artists, and even managers and things like that. Just through it, and it's been super
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah. Talking about that, let's talk about you being on tour with some of the bigs in Canada, Doc
Yeah.
Walker and others. How was that experience? That had to be a learning experience for you.
Yes, it was huge. Charlie Major,
Yep.
George Canyon, Doc Walker. We shared a bus with Dave and Chris from Doc Walker, and
Oh, wow.
they were just unbelievable. I connected with Chris really really well, and I think because he was out in front of the bus just hanging out like one of the boys.
Mhm.
I think Dave was a bit more of an introvert, so he was always making sure his voice was good and getting in the proper rest.
Sure.
And me and Chris would hang out and we'd go for lunch, or we would whatever it is. So, but they were just great because we had a set list sort of, and it wasn't really connecting with the crowd we were playing with. And he kind of was like, hey, how about you try this? Maybe shift some songs around, do this, do that, and just go out and own the stage. And those are some things that we were playing almost every night for 2 months or a month and a half,
Wow.
and
Mhm.
so you get a lot of trials before you figure it out. So I
Right.
think
Right.
the artist I went on tour versus the artist I came back were two different guys in a very positive
Wow.
way. So it was great to have guys that are that experienced and that willing to sort of teach and help a little
Mhm.
bit. So it made the whole tour that much more of an experience, as far as a learning experience, as far as just fun too. Because they
Mhm.
could have
Oh,
done
I
their own
bet.
thing and told us get out of our face, and we would have been like, all right, we'll get out of your face, no worries. Um,
As
but
they
yeah,
toss you from the bus. Get out.
yeah,
Get out.
yeah, get out.
You're out of
Yeah.
here.
No, so I mean, they were super, super cool with us, and
Yeah.
I think that made the tour what it is, really. So,
Mhm. How do you interact with and respond to fans?
you mean online or you
Yeah,
mean in?
either way, online or you're doing a show. I mean, how do you handle all that?
I love it if people are gonna take time. I mean, there's always
Mhm.
some people that either linger a little too long and can't read the room,
Right,
or
right. Time to get
maybe
out.
time to get out, just it's getting a little bit weird or whatever. I mean, that always happens, but there's so many more people that are just so happy to either meet you or love the music, or
Mm,
if it's on social media, they love some content of some sort. And you that I you do it for people who want to see it, who want to participate. And so if you don't take the time to interact with them, say what's up, or answer them back, and
mhm,
things like
mhm,
that,
mhm.
what's the point, really, right? So
Right, exactly.
I think it's cool if people are going to spend time at a show, and whether it's the first time that they ever saw me and they happen to be there and they got interested, or if they came out. I mean, they're there and they're enjoying the music. So um, yeah, I
Yeah,
enjoy saying what's up and hanging out.
wow, love it.
Do you, you may have mentioned this in the beginning and I may have missed it, but talking about Montreal, do you get back there often to perform, or where are you performing mostly? So do you have a favorite?
I mean, I think we had different tours sort of set up in different ways. So we got to do, sort of all across Canada. Just before COVID, we were doing a route that started in Tennessee, went through Ohio. We were supposed to do Ontario. That just loops back around. We were supposed to do Ontario, Montreal, come back to New York, and do the East Coast, kind of like that. And unfortunately, we weren't able to finish the tour. It ended up we ended up finishing it in Toronto a couple of days in because of COVID. But yeah, I love going back home to play in Montreal. I think it's always fun when we have new stuff going on, new music, new album or whatever. It's definitely a spot I try to hit whenever we can because, it's just a lot of people that when I was playing, acoustic songs and people were listening and things like that, they're all still there. Right. So it's kind of fun we evolved the show, we evolved the stage look, we evolved, the band and how the set flows and things like that. So it's always cool, especially if we have a new album or new songs to go there and play and kind of be like, hey, look, this is what we've been working on. It's kind of Montreal is obviously a different place, right? It's different when you because it's a hometown. When you get there, and I'm playing to a bunch of people that I know who've been who see me play the awful dive bar on a Thursday night for 3 hours. So we get to put a show together and they get to see it and kind of live the journey through. Every time we go by, it's like an update, you know what I mean? So it's really cool.
Well, that's great for them too, because they've watched you progress. So they're
and that's where the support starts, right? It starts with the community back home. And then everyone was super excited when I got down to Nashville and every time I go back, it's like, how's Nashville? How's it going? How's this? How's that? And it's so cool. So always getting the chance to play in Montreal is super cool. So I'd love to play Lasso. I haven't gotten the call for Lasso yet, which is the festival. But although it hasn't really taken place because of COVID, but we haven't.
Right.
I'm putting it out. I'm putting it out in the universe.
Now.
There you go.
Somebody get a hold of Manny. He needs to talk to you. He wants to get into Lasso. Yeah, exactly. One thing I've noticed, you haven't said A yet. So that's a good thing, I guess. I don't know.
You know what? It's funny because I say A and I say y'all. So I've kept that. Right. You know what? Sometimes it comes out more than other times. My band makes fun of me because one time I forgot what I was trying to say, and that I ended up saying AA. like right? I was like AA. So now my band leader, my guitar player, every time when I text him something, I'm like, no way. He's like AA. I'm like,
yeah. I'm just teasing you, dude. So
no, I know. It's all cool, dude.
And I like this. Talk about your creative process, because as we've said, you're a little bit different than some of the other artists that Deb and I have chatted with. Everybody's got their own creative process. So I'm very interested to find out what your creative process is like.
I think it depends. I mean, it depends if we're talking about like content or videos, or if we're talking about music specifically, or if we're talking about artwork, or things like that. I mean, I love colors. I love being wild. I love when it stands out. We started going really hard with the pink, and it stands out on a playlist. So I really like that. But I get inspired by what's going on, things that I like. It could be, older bands that had done something that's like kind of cool. It could be, just being aware of what else is going on in music right now, all over, cross genres, and participating, in my own way, with that, like the revival of pop punk, is definitely a huge influence to, wanting to do country punk and adding a little bit of that punk sensibility to country. So I mean, I think it depends on what it is we're doing. But we've been super busy with a lot of stuff that we can't talk about just yet, but
come on. We always like to be in on a little secret somewhere.
It's been a blast so far. So
one thing you're going to have to do is keep the Country Music Fan Club, like them on Facebook and do all that, because they do a New Music Friday, and when you come out with the new song, she will definitely feature it on New Music Friday. So.
Well, we got one on Friday. This Friday, the 6th.
This Friday? All right, I'm writing it down.
There you go. You're in.
I got timing. That's perfect. I got my buddy Blaine Holcomb on it with me.
Blaine is awesome. I know Blaine.
Dude,
yes, he's from this area.
He is. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. I know him personally. I had no idea.
Yeah,
Wow.
Blaine's on this
Small
song.
world.
We were supposed to do another one, and I had my old manager at the time thought it wasn't musically a good idea, though the guy couldn't tell the difference between a note and a chord. He decided that wasn't it, and kind of kiboshed the whole thing. And so when we got rid of him, I told Blaine, I said, "Hey man, the next time I get a song that makes sense for the two of us to be on,
Mhm.
you're definitely gonna be my first call." So I got this song called "Circle Up," and I said, "Hey Blaine, I know it's very much not in his style. It's heavy, and it's rocking, but it's about having fun and having a party." So I said, "Hey, you want to get on the song with me?" And he goes, "Yes, send me the song, but yes." And I said, "Great, let's do it." And so
Dude, that's
it's been cool.
awesome.
Yeah,
So is that the new release on Friday?
it is.
It's
Yep,
called Circle Up.
Circle Up.
And that's
Okay.
all the more reason to put a spotlight on that, because Blaine is from
Yeah.
this area, and I know Blaine from when he used to play around here and my
Yeah,
radio days, and we would chit chat a lot. And I know he went to Nashville, and as so many others do.
hmm
When you had just mentioned his name, I just went, "Are you kidding me?"
I know how many
it's
Blaines
a
are
that's the
out there.
first time. That's the first time that I've talked. I mean, I talk about him quite a bit because he was like the first artist I met when I came down here through
Yeah.
mutual friends. Um, and so we had a beer and we kind of hit it
Mhm.
off. And I've gone. When you look at us side by side, we don't look like we fit together, but he's a great dude, and we enjoy hanging out and having beers. So
Exactly, because he
it's
knows
great.
you. That's it,
Yeah.
exactly, and that goes back to what we were talking about before, and I would do the same thing in a second. How do you deal with performance anxiety? Do you get performance anxiety at all? And if so, how do you deal with it?
That's a really interesting question. I do to a degree. I think I when it's about 2 hours, 3 hours out, it's kind of like, all right, let's just get going here.
Right,
And
right.
I think it's a lot easier to deal with when you're on tour because you've got your space, whether it's a green room, or the bus or a van or whatever it is that you're traveling in. You can always go retreat to that and just hang out with the band for a bit before you go on stage. And so I always find the one-offs that we do here, like these showcases in Nashville or things like that, are so much more difficult because there's no space to hang out. So people came out to support you, so they want to talk to you. You have to be in the
Mhm.
building, and you cannot not talk to people.
Mhm.
But then you're talking over the music, so already now you're straining your voice, and then people are going, "Hey, are you ready? Do you feel good? Like, how does it go?" It's like, guys, I'm playing a show. Like, I feel it'll be fun. Like, even if I don't feel good, what am I
Right,
gonna say?
right, right.
You know what
Right.
I memean? So uh, I find those a lot harder to deal with the social aspect of it all. So I just kind of want to get it done. Like I just want to get on the stage. Like let's go. And then I'll
Uh-huh.
often too is that when there's a quick changeover, you kind of just want everything to go smoothly. You want the band before you to finish on time. You want to be able to get your guys together on time, get everything plugged in, get going, do a quick line check, and have it all go smoothly. And once I'm on stage and we start the first song, it's easy.
It's
You know what I
done.
mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's all the sort of the few hours before because I wake up that day, I'm super excited. It's like, hey, let's go. You do your warm ups, you do everything that you need to do. It's kind of just right after, like just before, and you're just like, I want to get this, like, let's just get started, right? It's
Mhm.
not a get it over kind of thing, but it's more like,
Right.
I just want to
You're
get it
excited.
started so I can be in
Mhm.
it. So I don't know if it's anxiety or just excitement. I mean, probably
Mhm.
a mix of the two, just because I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
everything to lead up to the show to go well. So yeah.
Mm.
Do you feel
What
like that all the time? So if you have 2 or 3 shows in a row, do you get calmer as each day goes by?
Yeah, I feel like when you're on tour, it's kind of that like this is what you're doing for this period of time, right? So your entire day is
Mhm.
dedicated to you're waking up a lot of times in a new place, and it's just
Mhm.
like you're hanging out, you're with the band, so
Mm.
you better get along, really quick, or it's going to be a long tour. So
Mhm.
I always find it easier once you're doing it a lot. It's just like here's another night, right? Like we're going to go ahead and do this thing. So I do prefer to be on tour and just playing night after night,
Mhm.
over like the one off, like everyone
Right.
takes their car and you hope
Right,
everyone
right.
gets there on time and you hope everybody's like and you don't want to over talk and there's a lot of things that it has nothing to do with the actual performance. It's just that I want my performance to go over smoothly. but things have to happen before the performance for that to happen, right? So that's kind of where maybe the anxiety comes in, and that's anxiety, half anxiety, half excitement, I guess would be the
No,
way to
I
describe
get it.
that. Yeah.
Totally. How do you take care of your voice? Do you have a certain type of drink or anything? I know I do a lot of VO, and I've got some natural herbs that sometimes it'll soothe my throat.
Yeah. I think my girlfriend's great. She makes me, when she can start hearing it a little bit, say one day of a lot of singing, rehearsing, whatever it is. She's like, I'm making a tea. Do you want one? Like, kind of
Yes, you
hinting.
want
And,
one.
and so I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's a great idea. I don't think of it myself a lot of times.
Right.
But ginger, lemon, and honey tea
Okay.
is great. I put a lot of honey in there. Is great. On days that are, you've done a lot, your voice is tired a little bit at night, you don't want to bring that into the next day. So that I found that's helped a lot. I think, letting everyone know around that you don't want to talk too much is huge, because I tend to talk a lot and overspeak, and I'm very excited. But there are times too where it's like, hey, I need to, dial that back, and everybody gets it. But I don't sing without warming up. I stopped doing that. I definitely warm up about 15, at least 15 minutes before I sing. And yeah, and I see a vocal coach every week.
I was going to ask about that. Was going to be my next question. You're talking about your voice, so I was going to ask about a vocal coach.
Yeah, no, there's a fellow artist on the same management team. Her name is Kara Fraser, and she's an unbelievable vocalist, soul blues, jazz kind of thing, and but with like a pop twist to it, which is really cool. And she's great. And so anytime I need something, I'm like, hey, this is going on. What are some tricks? And she's great. I meet with her, once a week for the most part, and it's just a matter of, first it was coaching. It was getting to a different place, and I used like the lockdown and the COVID a lot for that, because I was like, there's a different level that I feel like I can go. My manager's been telling me this for a while, and then but I had to make that switch in my head. And when I did that, I was like, there's so many great singers in rock music that I love to listen to. And so to be able to be next to them, in some sort of capacity, is going to be cool. And to bring some of those big belts. I mean, I think Chris Stapleton's the best one, I think, in country for it.
Yeah.
And he's got his thing going. But, I love Lizzie Hale. I think she's got an unbelievable voice.
Yeah,
Dave Grohl can sing. Yeah. And so to bring a little bit of that too to country and do it, I feel, there's a lot of songs that feel very, very similar. And if I can throw in, a belt in my music just to stand out and know that I could, I think is kind of fun.
Pretty awesome, man. I'm loving this conversation with you, dude.
Yeah.
You're the coolest. What's an average day like for you?
An average day.
You're a musician. You probably don't get up till about noon. I'm just saying,
I
because
mean,
you're up late at night. I know.
There's so many days that are not the same. But I mean, I think typically a day would be getting up. I'm a big coffee guy. I need at least I'll get up earlier than I have to have my coffee in bed. At least one or two, at least. So I'll get up relatively, early and hang out, have coffee, put something on TV, get everything excited and going. And we rehearse quite a bit. I mean, we typically rehearse 3 times a week, starting at noon. So I gotta get up and get everything rolling before that, because I warm up. Oftentimes gargle with warm water and salt is unbelievable.
I hear that's good. Yeah.
It feels like everything is massaged and everything. And then I warm up, and then I get over to the rehearsal space, hang out with the guys. We run through whatever we need to run through. and then I don't know, come home, have dinner, and probably go see something going on in Nashville at
Yeah.
night. Yeah.
What do you do for fun? I mean, you say you work all day. I mean, you're loving what you're doing. I get that, but
Yeah.
it's also work. So let's forget about that. What do you do for fun?
I love MMA. I still love MMA. I love what's going on in MMA. So I love listening to MMA podcasts. I love
Mhm.
getting into everything that's going on within the world of MMA. So, and all of that takes my head away from music. And I think it's important. And I have heard, I have had conversations with other artists or people within the industry that were like, how do you, kind of pull away? And I think it's so important. I love hockey. So,
Yeah.
especially now, like with all the trades and the,
Oh yeah.
great
Yeah.
free agency and
Yeah.
things like
Mhm.
that, it's been wild. I play quite a bit of NHL
Oh, cool.
on PlayStation. So, and those are, when I put on TV shows that have nothing to do with music most of the time, it's something random, it's something different. And, I find it so weird the way, sort of the way everything is rolling right now. But
Mhm.
there's times, there's weeks or months that are super busy and everything's crammed and we're trying to get photo shoots and rehearsals and shows and live stream recordings and all of these things all done. And then there's so much time off.
Yeah.
And so, but I think, keeping the music obviously at the forefront of the mind when things are slowing down. There's always new things you could be doing or thinking of. But when things are very hectic, I find, like unplugging at the end of the day or at
Right.
some point or taking the time to do that is super important because I know myself and I can't speak for everybody, but I will burn out. So because when I'm in it, I'm just so focused on
Right. Right.
all of the things that have
Yeah.
to do with a release or a shoot or how do I want this to look and how do I want that to look, and especially with country punk now, everyone's like, we don't know what you want from this, so you have to drive this ship and we'll make sure it all goes to plan. But then they go, what do you want to do about that? What do you want to do about that? What do you want? And so I'm, and it's great that I have a team that I can bounce ideas off of and help me with
Mhm.
all of these what we need to get done. They go, well, this is what we need, do it your way, tell us how you want us to do it, but this is what we need. And so then there's moments where it's like, you know what? I've got a couple hours here. I'm going to unwind. I'll put something on TV. I'll chill a little bit. Because sometimes just like a night, my manager calls me, goes, hey, we got to go check out somebody playing at somewhere, and
Right. Right.
then you got to get, you got to eat dinner or figure it out. And then you got to go out and go and be social. And so after all day of being creative, there has to be some break because then you got to go out and then you got to be social and talk and people want to know what you're up to and what you're doing and all these kinds of things, which is all great stuff. But without a
Mhm.
little bit of a distraction or some other type of hobby, I know myself, I would totally burn out. So I'm just
Yeah.
doing everything I can
People
not to get there.
people forget as much as you're entertaining us and you're doing what you love, it is your job.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody needs a mental break from their job because you can love it all you want, but you just 24/7 is no good.
It's no good. I'm with that. I'm about balance. I'm all for that.
Hmm.
So that's always been my advice for people that are like, I'm trying to do everything. I go, hey, don't do everything. Find people around
Hmm.
you that you trust, so you can start. You can have some kind of even just to have a conversation and bounce. I do that all the time. I get on 2-hour conversations with my manager just to talk about some random stuff that we got going on. Songs that came out, albums that came out, things I want to do, whatever, and it just bounce ideas off of each other. And I think that's a really cool way to work. And then, and it's not all on you all the time where there's all this stress and you get the ability to, chill and unwind a little bit.
Mm. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Right out there is Nissan Stadium. So
Hmm.
hopefully I see it from the balcony right there. So hopefully Nissan Stadium in 5 years.
My wife just brought me a beer,
Oh, that's
Aw,
fantastic.
so I am
Unreal.
good to go. Little
Cheers.
cheers,
there you
my
go.
friend. Little Sam Adams summer ale,
There you
and
go.
here in the Northeast, this is big. So
So have you played at CMA Fest at all on any of the outside stages?
I have not yet. No, I have not. We played the first EP we released. We did the album party the night before it all of that started. Um,
Okay.
so that was the closest I guess that I felt like I was part of it because all my
Yeah.
buddies came into town, and so then we hit Broadway and all of the cool events that weekend, but I have not yet. No.
I'm just
Hopefully,
curious.
hopefully soon.
Soon.
Are
Hopefully we'll
you
get there.
playing Are you playing in the Nashville venues right now, or is your focus more outside of that?
The focus has always been going on the road. And so
Mhm.
before COVID, we hadn't really played that much in Nashville. What I find is interesting is there's so many of the big artists going out on the road now since they're able to.
Mhm.
That a lot of the Nashville spots, like the Whiskey Jams, like Nashville Tour Stop, and a bunch of those kinds of things are we can go in and we can
Mhm.
go have some fun and just build the name here in Nashville too. So we've been really enjoying being here, being home, and then just participating within the community. And I've gotten to meet so many people that I don't know if I would have if I
Mhm.
hadn't gone out and done these things. And I wear a pink country punk hat, and people want to know what it is, and some guys love it. And we do a cookout every Thursday, so
Love it.
they come by, they snag a hat and a bandana, and and friendships and relationships grow. And it's just been really cool to be in Nashville with the pandemic, kind of hopefully moving away, where we can go to shows and we can all hang out together and really be part of the community again.
Awesome. It's
Yeah.
been a Deb just went white. I don't know. Deb, are you there? Just checking in. Anyways, it's been really awesome chatting with you here tonight. Getting to know you, like you a lot. The music, as I mentioned, I've already mentioned it a couple of times. It's outstanding. It really is. When I heard
Thanks.
country punk, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I kind of said, okay, what is this all about? But
Yeah.
once I heard it, I have a lot of roots in rock, and I'm going, they've taken that, they put a little country, as I mentioned before. Now, I guess you can add a slide and, other instruments in with it, and now you have country punk. And of course your look goes right with it. You've got the whole package, dude.
Thank you.
That's cool. That's really cool. I don't know what
I
happened to
appreciate that.
Deb, but I know she will definitely put the spotlight on the release coming up on Friday, and
Awesome.
even more so. Well, we do it full bore anyways, but with Blaine on it, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And here's the deal: you got to promise me you tell him I said hello.
I
That
will.
you talked to Skip Clark and from
I
Syracuse.
definitely will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's from
definitely.
this area. So, and just a great vocalist, a great guy. So, and he's got his dreams. He's trying to live his dreams. He's just like
Yeah.
all of you. So,
He's doing it.
yeah. Have you let me do something here for a minute. There we go. So, have you had the opportunity to visit any radio stations here in the States or no?
I have. There's been a few that I've gotten to go
Mhm.
see. We haven't released anything to American radio just yet.
Okay.
Just for the sheer fact that there's a lot going on. There's a lot of artists.
Yeah.
I love radio, and we're gonna get there at some point. But it'd be nice to be able to talk about more stuff and things like that when we do. So, streaming's been really good. I mean, Apple Music's been great, especially with the release of
Yeah, I hear your
Ballet.
numbers are. Yeah, yep, your numbers are. Deb has your numbers. Here she
Yeah.
comes. Let's see what
Well,
she's got here. Let's ask her. All right, Deb. Hang on a minute. Here she comes. She's back. Hi,
there she
Deb.
is.
Just get in.
Oh, now she's on mute.
Hey.
Oh.
It's okay. Well, welcome back. You were looking at the numbers for the streaming for Manny, correct? Told you.
I can't hear her.
Oh, you can't hear her?
No, can you?
I can hear you, but
Oh,
Deb, can you hear him?
okay.
Ah.
If she asks me a question, I won't be able to answer.
No. Hang on, man. My camera's in the way here. I gotta try something here.
Sure.
But hang on. How about now, Deb?
Okay. Testing. Can you hear me?
Hello,
Hey,
hello.
awesome. Great.
A
So
little bit of
I'll
an echo,
circle
but
back. I was saying that I'm intrigued by the numbers because one, I was a math major in college, so I've always been intrigued by numbers. And then secondly, I always love to hear what the artist feels about when they hear certain numbers that are, we of course use Spotify because that's the one that seems to reveal all this awesome information. So we have some artists that are like, oh wow, I didn't even know that's what I had. And then there's some artists that are like, yeah, they've worked really hard to get there. But what I love about you is, first of all, your monthly listeners. You're at like over 47,000 monthly listeners. That
Yeah,
I think is the highest number we have come across to date.
that's awesome.
Amazing. So one,
Thank you.
congratulations. That is
absolutely.
amazing. But
Thank
your
you.
last, I mean, you've got 3 singles here that are over 200,000 streams. So whether people are listening to these songs over and over, and then you've got new fans coming on board. I mean, that's like you've got over like almost 1 million hits on your songs when you add up all of your releases. I mean, what do you think about that? Do
Yeah,
you even
thank
look
you.
at that?
My manager does, and he sends them to me, which is really
Mm,
cool. I think the monthly listeners is super cool. Is a super cool number
mhm.
to look at. And he told me something really interesting one time is when Spotify had put out all of that, at the end of the year, kind of all that info, all that, all the numbers compiled
Right.
for the
All
year,
the analytics. Yep.
all the analytics. And I was like, oh, like, do we have our, because everyone's posting theirs. And I'm like, well, what do ours look like? Just out of curiosity. And he goes, hey, really quick, there's something that people always look at that I don't think is necessarily telling. And people always look at amount of streams and amount of listeners. And uh, his point was look at the ratio.
Right.
Because if you have 100, say, to make it simple, 100,000 streams and 100,000 listeners, people go, wow, I got 100,000 listeners. Everyone's listening to the song one time. It's not,
Yeah.
they're not going
Right.
back to it.
Right. Right.
Um, the idea is we want to build real fans. Sometimes that can be the long way around, but it's people that are going to go back to it and listen to it over and over. And so the number of streams with the number of listeners on a appropriate ratio is what we're
Hmm.
looking at. Just because obviously we want more, the more people that can hear it, the better it is. But we always want that streaming number higher than the listener number,
Right.
because so if you're talking about it that way, I think is cool. But it's just crazy to be put on playlists, and I'm scrolling through and I see other artists that are within the same vicinity of people that I
Hmm.
either are taking off now a little bit, or we're the same, doing the same thing, that we've played shows together or whatever it is, and we're on the same playlist now. And then next to other artists, and it's like when you scroll down a playlist and you've got other friends on your playlist, and there's other artists like you mentioned, Morgan Wallen, Hardy,
Right.
Eric
Right.
Church, or
Right.
whatever, Miranda Lambert. You're just like, oh my god, this is insane. So the numbers are cool, but and that's all great info to have. But just seeing yourself in your sort of craft, your song, next to some people that are eventually going to be legends if they're not already, is pretty cool, crazy.
Manny, are you able to enjoy some of the fruits of your labor at this point? What you're doing? Are you getting a little bit back because of how talented you are, or is that still a little ways to go?
Yeah, I think I am. I
Good.
think that there's I always enjoy the small wins too. I mean, you got to always keep the eye on the prize, sort of deal, I guess, for
Right.
cliche.
Right.
There's always a bigger goal. There's always more work to do. But I think that if you're so hard ass on, oh no, we're not, everyone's like, I'm my hardest critic, and then I think that's important. But there's a goal, but then enjoy the small wins along the way. And
Hmm.
getting the cover of Canada's Country on Apple Music, it was massive for me. I mean, I think it was so cool. There's certain things that just happen that you got to enjoy, and you celebrate it, and
Right.
and and then the next day, it's a new day, and you go back to work, right? So um and I mentioned it before, but I think balance is huge in every
Right.
aspect. I think it is. And I think I'm fortunate enough to have the right people around me to help guide me through
Absolutely.
all of it, not go too
Mhm.
left, not go too right. but also we can all enjoy it together because everyone's putting in the hard work. So
Absolutely. Who do you listen to?
oh my okay, so
Here we go.
I have a playlist. I literally have a playlist on my phone just because I didn't know what else to call it because it was so random. I wrote it. The playlist is called "Cool People Doing Cool Shit." That's what it's
I
called.
love it.
love it.
I love it.
I got Machine Gun Kelly. I
Yeah.
got Mott Son, Post Malone, Morgan
Okay.
Wade, Morgan Wallen, Hardy, Charlotte Sands,
Oh, wow.
Robin Ottolini. Who else is on there?
Wait, any
I got Blink
females?
182.
Any
Sorry?
females? I don't think I hear any females on there.
Yeah, Robin,
Yeah.
Charlotte,
Charlotte. Right.
Morgan Wade.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. I was thinking Morgan Wallen. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Just
both
checking.
both of them. Honestly, right now, growing up, I didn't listen to, when I am in the process of self-discovery as an artist, it was a lot harder to connect to female artists. So I would listen to males that I, loved a certain aspect of what they were doing. Right now, some of my favorite artists are female artists. Charlotte
Mhm.
Sands is on the top of
Charlotte
my
is
list.
phenomenal. Yeah.
She is unbelievable. I got to see her play Whiskey Jam. Morgan Wade is a badass on her own. Robin is great. We got who else? Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm.
Yeah.
Pretty Reckless. Taylor Momsen. They're nasty. They're just the top of the game, right? And so, I just think it's super cool, and it's funny that you bring that up because I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, it's I didn't really listen to female artists before just because I didn't necessarily relate to
Mhm.
necessarily the style, the branding, the messaging, the whole
Mhm.
thing. And now I just listen to music to enjoy it, and I'm kind of figured out what I want to do. And so then there's times you listen to music for a specific purpose that you're listening for something, and then there's
Mhm.
times where it's just like, hey, these people are just really good and have really really cool songs. So
Wow.
I mean, I think the Robin Ottolini's song "Sincerely Drunk Me" is a masterpiece. I would say
I
it's
will definitely check
unbelievable.
them out.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely good stuff. Post Malone is actually from this area as well.
he is.
Mhm.
Dude,
Yeah.
Post Malone is literally one of my favorite, biggest inspirations, just for the sheer fact of he's just having a good time.
Mhm.
He seems like a really great guy, unless he's a really good actor, which I don't know.
I've heard good things. So,
But
Mhm.
he's like a great dude. He's one of the biggest stars in the world, of
yeah.
Mhm.
music.
Yep. Yep.
And he's crossing over and just doing whatever he wants. And I think that that's so cool because you can always do whatever you want. Doesn't mean it's going to be good, right? But
Right.
there's a way to do it
Mhm.
that is good. It's creative. It's unique. And there has to be quality to it. And Post Malone's one of those guys. I'm not a big rap fan or rap consumer. And I mean, I think he's got some songs that are a little more rap, a little less, and so,
Mhm.
but it's fun. But I listen to it. I mean, I love. This was a thing that I noticed was I like hip hop or rap when it's very melodic,
Okay.
when it can be fast, you could say whatever you want to say, but if it's got like some kind of melody or some instrumentation that is like really cool, and I think I started listening to MGK really because of his album, but then I went back into some old stuff, and there's some older stuff where I'm like, okay, this is not really for me, and then there's some other stuff, and it's like you can tell he was a Blink fan. You can tell that he was a pop
Right.
punk kid
You
too.
can
Mhm.
hear it in the
And
music.
he's got some rap in it, but then he's also got some really great guitar licks and some really cool drum fills. And it's like, well, and this is pre Tickets to My Downfall, and some of his older stuff. So I'm like, there's ways to play with music. I mean, genres are great for like initially, but to hold someone into that box all the time is I think just doing the artist and doing your
Mhm.
expectations an injustice because they're not going to do that, right? The artist won't do that. So
Wow.
let's just be happy with versatility and the ability that somebody can do multiple things and
Mhm.
bring different aspects of music into like say a genre. I think is a really cool skill, and that is artistry, right? So
Mhm.
I think we just
Awesome.
gotta
Wow.
stop with this genre stuff and just let it fly, let it have
let
fun,
it go. Let it
Yep.
go. Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
even though I do not disagree with you, do you happen to have any traditional country artists that you um, are a fan of, or that you would like to, at some point in some of your music, have a little bit model after a little bit?
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, traditional is a funny. I mean, I'm a big Cody Johnson fan as well, John Party as well.
Hmm.
I mean, I think they're great. I love Cody Johnson. I think he's
Hmm.
got such a dark deepness but with a bit of with beauty to his voice, and his
Hmm.
songwriting is stupid. So
Mhm.
it's I'm a big John Party fan. Well, John Party too, but I'm a big Cody
Hmm.
Johnson fan. I think he's
Okay.
really, really cool.
He's
That's
got
good
that
to know.
Texas country. That's
Hmm.
Yeah.
it
Oh
seems like
yeah.
a lot of the artists that come from what they call quote unquote Texas country, they've
Yeah.
got exactly what you said. They've got that voice, they got that
Yeah.
sound to them.
Hmm.
It's all about playing at the rodeo, and it's
Hmm.
just
Well, he
cool.
was a rodeo guy too, I think, at one
Yeah,
point, right?
no, he was
So yeah.
absolutely.
So
Yep,
he's
yep.
got
And John,
he
oh,
sorry, go ahead.
no, go
No,
ahead. I cut you off.
I know you're good. He's living that truth. Dear Rodeo is a nasty song.
I love
If
it.
I saw him play live and he explained it, and just listening back and just him that he, wanted to be a radio guy his whole life and had music as a hobby, and then,
Mhm.
felt like a failure because he couldn't continue or whatever. I mean, I think he's doing pretty well. But felt like a failure that he had to turn to music. And then you listen to Dear Rodeo, and it's crazy.
It's crazy,
Hmm.
So
crazy good. Definitely. We've been chatting with Manny Blue, and you can see the website there on the screen. It's Manny Blue Music, and you got to join the fan club, which is the Blue. Well, I got to look that up again. What is it? What's your
Blue
fan
Crew.
club? Blue Crew.
The Blue Crow.
The Blue Crew.
I
There
like
you
that.
And I'm going to be all over that, man, because I just want to stay on top of what you're doing. And I'd love to get some of your music on the air, too, like really soon. Some of the stuff that, as long as it's not too wild,
No,
you know what I mean? And
it's all
I
good.
want one of those pink hats. And,
Well,
you
I'm for
know,
sale really, really soon.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what can we find on your website, Manny?
On the website, there we have merch. We have the music, and tour updates, so live shows that we're playing.
Okay.
And then you can sign up to the newsletter, the Blue Crew, and keep up to date because we still have we're on our way to release this new EP, but we're not done for 2021 just yet. So we're gonna ride this
Awesome.
year out to the end. January, I said 2021 is the year of that country punk is born, and I'm staying true to that. So I think that if you hang
You're the
around for the
leader.
ride, it's gonna be
Mhm.
a really fun ride till the end of 2021.
Well, I want the ride. I'm telling you, this is pretty cool. It's pretty
Yes,
cool,
sir.
Manny, you've been awesome tonight. Very informative. It's kind of a different angle on country, on the
Yeah.
format, and on the music. And I hear the country when I listen to it, and as I said before, it's got the rock side as well. So it's cool, but
Mhm.
it's nothing screaming at you. It's just
Mhm.
it's good. It's good. Manny,
Thank you.
you're awesome. We hope to see you out on tour. If not,
Yes.
Deb and I are in Nashville. I'm there once in a while. Deb's there every other day, so it seems. So,
Hey, are you playing anywhere next
Why not?
weekend? Because I'll be in town the weekend of the 13th.
What
I
are
suppose
we
I could look
doing?
on your website.
yeah.
Yeah, no, we're the next time we're playing is the 19th at Whiskey Jam. We haven't announced that yet, but yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Playing
I
Whiskey
won't
Jam on
tell
the 19th.
anyone. We won't tell any of our viewers either.
no,
Oh, yeah.
nobody's gonna
It's
know.
just between us. Just between
It's
us.
just
Okay.
between the three of us
My
right here.
son will probably be at Whiskey Jam. We hit Whiskey Jam about a month ago when we were there. I love Whiskey Jam. But,
Yeah, I
Very
had so
cool.
much fun. We're there quite a bit too. Just either
Mhm.
supporting fellow friends and artists or just
Mhm.
hanging out. So
Mhm.
you can find us at Whiskey Jam probably almost every night.
Well, I'm sure I will run into you at some point, whether you're
Yeah.
performing or I snag you somewhere.
Just look
Yeah,
for
for
the
sure.
pink hat. Look for the pink hat going down the street.
Yep.
Okay.
The man
Yep.
in
Mhm.
shorts and tats and everything else. I mean, I've got a few, but I don't have anything like that. So,
Mhm.
anyways, one
Yes,
one
sir.
quick thing just before we let you go. The best advice you've ever. No, I'm going to change this around a little bit
Okay.
because what advice can you give somebody that's just starting out? Something you've done your own thing, but what advice can you give somebody?
Oh,
or would you get some?
I mean, I think all of it begins with work ethic. Might be a cliche, but it does. I mean, it's not easy. Um, but enjoy the small wins along the way. Find a community of people who enjoy doing music too, who are supportive of you as much as you are of them. And because it's hard to do this thing all by yourself, man. It's
Mhm.
not easy.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've in no way is this is a plug of any sort, but my manager's got a artist development company called 0 to 60 here in Nashville, and I would not have moved to Nashville if it didn't exist. So,
Mhm.
I will go to the end of the earth to say that it is what helped me out and kickstarted my career for sure. Just to have people around that have some structure for it. I've seen so many people just try to do it and they grind and they just worry about the numbers and they worry about this and that. And the numbers don't come if you don't do the work, obviously.
Right.
So, but you have to know what you're doing and where you're putting your time, because you can also put your time in a lot of stuff that doesn't
Mhm.
make sense or won't or is not as useful as you think. So, to have other people that you trust in your corner is one of the other biggest things that I would say is super helpful. So, yeah.
Awesome. It's great advice, dude. Manny Blu, been with us tonight here on Skip Happens. On behalf of Deb and I, we just want to say thank you for joining us. Thank you
Yes,
for
sir.
taking the time to do this. Great conversation. Great to
Mhm.
get to know you. Love to say hello in person sometime
Yeah.
soon, and we'll do our best to make that work. Or if you're ever in the Northeast, make sure you look us up. But
Perfect.
again, thank you. Make sure you give the country, Deb, give all your good stuff
Country
there.
Music Fan Club on Facebook at the official CMFC, and we'll make sure we're following your pages and your websites and your
Awesome.
socials, because I have a great social media team that will put
Mhm.
and we will see your new music Friday, this
Cool.
Friday. So like day after tomorrow, right?
Correct.
I have to
Yeah.
make sure we're on that. Okay, I had next
Yep.
Friday on the brain, so we will be
And
With
on
my
that.
boy Blaine.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah,
I know,
absolutely.
man. What a
I know.
small world.
That's exciting.
Dude,
Crazy.
just make
So,
sure you tell him Skip Clark says hello. He'll go,
and
who?
I may see you downtown in a bar next weekend. Who knows?
Hey, I'm here, so
How
we're
would
out
you
and bouncing
know?
around.
How would you know it's Manny?
I'm just gonna look for those tattoos. I'm gonna look for the chain, and I'm sure you'll have colored nail polish on.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
all
probably.
awesome.
recognize him. He may
You know,
not recognize me, but
and look at that. I love him, Manny. You're
Mhm.
awesome, Manny Blu, everybody. And again,
Thank you so
thank you for
much.
joining us tonight
Yeah.
on Skip Happens. We're going to sign off, but stay right there. And
Mhm.
again, everybody, it's Skip Happens. Go to YouTube, subscribe. Also, like
Mhm.
our Skip Happens podcast page as well on Facebook. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.